Hi, I'm Bob Weir, and I want to say happy St. Patty's Day to everyone today. It should be a beautiful day for a celebration of St. Patty's. So I'm here with another interview of candidates running in local elections, and my guest today is Ray David, who is running for place 4 in the Highland Village City Council. Thanks for being here, Ray.
Pleasure.
If you would please begin by telling our viewers something about your background.
Oh, wow. I'm a native to Denton County, a flow baby out of the Denton Hospital. I have lived in multiple cities across this county, including, like I spoke with you, not far from a stone's throw from here in Flower Mound. Back when I think it was like 300 population back in that day. Is it like 80? Is it to tell you the day? 79 and 80s in that time period. I'm a student from basically first grade, kindergarten through ninth grade of the Denton School Districts. I graduated Powell Point High School, got to play football under the great G.A. Moore at that time period. I went on to North Texas and got myself an accounting degree. And from there I became a CPA and practiced as a forensic accountant for a decade. The firm I was with in Dallas transferred me down to Houston. I'm with my family and had a daughter at the time in Houston. We were there for about a decade. I got a call from the family to come back into the family business and banking back in 1999, so I'm right after a decade of getting down there. And I came back and took over the reins of senior lending officer and moved fairly quickly to president of Point Bank here in Denton County. The great thing about being a community banker is you get to be very involved in the community and you get to know many of the things I'm about. I think we counted 14 different business associations and chambers across the county. Have served as consultants in the Economic Development Committee from Powell Point even. I have served as a school board member in the Aubrey school districts. I have served as the community, I'm going to butcher it, but it's the community budget committee for the Louisville ISD school district as well. From the side thing on municipalities, I've held the public deposits for I think 1, 2, 3, 4 cities in the county and 2 or 3, 4 school districts as well.
And what's the name of the bank?
Point Bank.
And is it Denton?
It's a Denton County bank. To tell a little fun about the bank, we are in an annual Austin listed as the oldest bank in the state of Texas. We can only find ownership records of the banks and didn't keep them back to 1884. So we don't claim the 1852. There's a bank of our name in 1852 that's listed in Austin, but the first record we can find is when we purchased a building in 1884.
But this is the Denton Community Bank?
It's a Denton County Community Bank. 9 locations, all located here in Denton County.
All right, is this your first time running for office?
No, I ran for school board when I was in Aubrey, Texas.
Okay, you said that, yeah. All right. Why do you want to be on the Highland Village Council?
You know, it's kind of a path forward. I mean, I've had a lot of friends talk about my engagement working with different mayors in different cities. I thought, this is a position I would like to go to. So I'm running for city council now to be the mayor someday. I'll lay that out there. I don't think you just jump on and do mayor without being involved in the community to a certain extent. And so I'd like to serve a few terms as council and then look in that into the future and have a very good ingrained spot. And in about 60 years, I'll be in more of a position in my career to be able to take on the duties and give that the seriousness it
needs. And for those who may not know, what sort of decisions do council members vote on?
Oh, wow. The biggest thing is you set a budget and you look at the budget, you look at the project the city's looking at. Another thing is ordinances. I mean, you look at the laws that are in place today, are they exactly what needs to be placed for the future? Do we need to change those, to better serve what the community is today? And that's a big part of council with the ordinances. P&Z, you look at specific developments, you have to take a look at each and everything. Is this going to be a cost to the city when it arrives, or is this going to be a revenue generator? And then once again, how does that flow back into that budget we were looking at?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of budget, what is the size of the budget?
I believe currently, roughly, give or take, it's roughly $35 million is the current budget that's overseen now.
And how about the tax rate for your city?
563, I think, 56.3%.
Per 100 valuation. Right.
Now, and I also say in addition to that, we get about 16% of the city revenue from sales tax, that wonderful Walmart sitting over there.
That's right. That Walmart that nobody wanted, now everybody goes to it.
And very quietly, it's not just a Walmart, but the TJ Maxx and the other stores in that center is what generates that. But I'll kind of speak to that. 16% is low for a city. I mean, we have a relatively small amount of retail space in the actual proper Highland Village compared to a city like Denton that brings in a tremendous amount of its money off hotel taxes and things like that, which we just don't get the benefit of here.
Yeah. But Walmart must bring in a lot of taxes though, right?
You know, even as it's said and done, I don't think the total tax revenue that comes in off sales taxes is 3 or 4. Like I said, it's about 16%
No,
of the total budget. So you're not talking. Walmart alone's probably 2 to 3 million at most. It's not
All
what
right,
you think overall.
Ray, if you had to choose the three most important issues facing Highland Village in the next few years, what would they be?
You know, it's a very unique dichotomy in Highland Village. Something different than any other city is really seeing in Denton County. We're 70 some odd acres left to develop, and that's it. And some of that doesn't even have ready available utilities. It's kind of an awkward spot out there towards the north side of town on the lake. So you have everything that goes forward, you have to really manage the ROI. Is there a return to the city? You can't put more expenses on when you're landlocked, because a lot of cities, Flower Mound, you got the opportunity, they have the first ranch thing coming. So you get to grow a budget, you get to grow revenue on just simply because you're gonna put on more real estate and you're gonna get more taxes.
A lot more space.
And so the growth alone generates more income for their city. We don't get that.
So
we don't have that growth coming, so if we're not careful to manage every one of the projects coming and the potential revenue, there's only one answer, that 0.56 has gotta go to 0.7, and that's not gonna be something the residents wanna see.
Yeah, well, are there other major developments in the planning now?
You know, there's not anything of major. There's lots of consideration that's coming down the line. I mean, I know that we'll get to discussing, you know, what to do with the shops, Highland Villages, or redevelopment to be done there to a certain extent. But no, there's nothing. I mean, you've got I know there's a HTO that's going to be coming in next to Handles over there, but that's nothing major. But that's probably the major business thing that you have coming. The other major developments that you are seeing coming into Highland Village is kind of, what do we do to spruce up our park system? How do we expand these trails for accessibility, and what do we do to, as far as some access to different things on the trails?
Yeah, you have an excellent trail system.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
It really is. And you mentioned the apartments. There was a proposal for an apartment complex to be built over there. I think it was turned down, and they may be coming back with another proposal.
You know, maybe. I mean, you don't know till they do. I know that they. I think they feel like the villagers with pitchforks at the meetings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're going to be rushing back in. I think they heard the message loud and clear that 500 units isn't going to work where AMC was. And like I said earlier, the key there is if we do any sort of apartments, and it's tough to see. It's going to take a real strong pitch from a developer. You have to consider the egress and egress. What's it going to do to traffic flow? What's it going to do to parking? You can't build an apartment, take away the parking for your retail. You have that sales tax goes away. We're talking about. So you have to be careful to make sure that you're not disrupting the sales tax environment with anything that you bring in like that.
Yeah, and you don't want to increase the density to the point you have serious traffic problems.
Nope. That's an egress and egress I'm talking about.
Yeah. So when you're limited on area space, when it's no longer horizontal, you start thinking vertical. At least a lot of people do.
Yep.
That's where those apartment complexes come in. But I'm glad to see people are involved in their community and they tell people what they want. I think we're coming down quickly to the end of this, so let me just ask you if you have any other issues you'd like to talk about before we close?
No, just the main thing I'd say that I'm looking for is I have a lot of experience serving on different budget committees for charities, to the Education Foundation, for the Louisville School District, and I believe that I think I've got some very respectful candidates against us. I don't think Highland Village loses in this election. We got great candidates in opposition. I do think that I bring more experience to the table to have a more immediate impact for now and the future. And like I said, I'm actually doing this for even further expanding my services and service to the city of Highland Village. But I do think that one thing that we have to look at, because we have that unique dichotomy that we are grown out, we have to put a litmus test of what is the ROI on everything and anything that we, not just what's coming in, but what the city does. Is it going to create more expense? Can we do we have the revenue of the future? And I think with my background as a CPA, and like I said, the budgets that I've served, not to mention the fact that through my banking experience that we've handled the public funds for many municipalities and school districts in the county, that I think I bring a unique experience that doesn't even exist on the council, and I look forward to serving the citizens of Highland Village.
So what kind of campaigning are you doing?
Pretty subtle. I mean, it's going to be online from campaigning, probably some signs out here and there, and maybe an attitude here and there in the paper.
Right.
And actually, best kind of campaigns, tell your neighbors all about me. If you like my opponents, tell them the election's in June.
And your campaign signs will be ready soon.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, well, I want to thank you, Ray, for being here, and good luck in the election.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.